Welcome to Custom Creator. Me and Greg are kind of taking a night off, but we've had something in the archives for a long time. And it's kind of like dark, disturbing material, but it's, from what I can tell, it's pretty damn real. And now I don't know why I got him though. It's about a former president and a tape that was found in the archives. This is disturbing material for some people, so if squeamish things you might not like, blood and gore and stuff, it's not terrible, but it's not exactly, it's sticking with me, so
yeah,
anyway.
It's a fascinating piece of video. It may seem a little off-brand for the channel, but we've done things about serial killers, cryptids, haunted places, stuff like that before. So this is like those who like those weird kind of stories. But yeah, this one is pretty fascinating.
Yeah, this one I heard about way before YouTube, so I've heard about this for a long time. Now let's get into it. We just wanted to warn you that it may open your third eye. Alright, let's do it. So, Billy Styler is the only one that has this. You will find many, many other versions of this where people are reading the context of what is being said on this tape. This guy's the only one that has the actual audio, and I think he was made to blur the video because of YouTube guidelines, is what I'm guessing. This one gives a much better explanation of it and everything. Okay, me and Greg are talking in the background. We've done this without cameras. We wasn't exactly very smart about it, so that's why we're here now. But we are talking in the background, giving commentaries. Don't think you're hearing voices.
The SCP Foundation is the ultimate rabbit hole for those interested in the dark.
I look up the SCP Foundation, Gregory. See if this can even really be looked up. I'll let it play a little bit. Let me know when you find it.
Alright.
Disturbing and unexplained. For those of you who don't know, the SCP Foundation is responsible for capturing, containing, and studying various paranormal, supernatural, and other mysterious phenomena unexplained by science, while also keeping their existence hidden from the rest of society. These phenomena are known as anomalies to us and classified as SCPs to the Foundation. Their archives can be found online, which contain thousands of records, ranging from SCP.
There you go. SCP? I mean, it don't really say what to look up.
The SCP Foundation.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you've actually found it?
Yep.
Alright, so that's not exactly what we want to talk about. We can dive into that later if you want us to.
Yeah.
This is about one certain SPC file, and you know which one it is, Greg. See if you can find anything about that. And we'll let it play.
087, an endless unlit stairwell haunted by a shrouded figure. SCP-106, a corroded and decayed humanoid entity with a malicious instinct to hunt and drag humans to a dimension beyond our understanding. Nonetheless, each one of these SCPs exists at the threshold of reality, having their own history and purpose. Except,
I mean, my God, look at all those. Wow. I don't think they're all bad. I don't know about this part. This part I have no idea. Obviously it exists, but I don't know if there really is like a Man in Black like this. Have all these entities everywhere, like upside down. Not sure, but I know it has been a thing for a long time. I think that's where the movie Men in Black comes from, is the idea of this organization.
A corroded and decayed humanoid entity with a malicious instinct to hunt and drag humans to a dimension beyond our understanding. Nonetheless, each one of these SCPs exists at the threshold of reality, having their own history and purpose. Except for one, which I personally believe to be the most disturbing SCP of them all.
That's me, Calvin.
This is SCP-1981, a corrupted Betamax recording of Ronald Reagan's Evil Empire speech from March of 1983. This anomalous object was discovered by a filing clerk at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in Simi Valley, California in 1991. Attached to...
Now, I've heard this before. Can you find that?
I'm sorry, what am I looking for? I found the SCP Foundation. I found a little bit on the Betamax tape, not a whole lot.
Just that it was found at the Ronald Reagan Museum
Okay,
in 1981 or 1981.
gotcha.
Hold on. Just trying to fact check a little bit of it. So it's SCP 1981.
Personally believed to be the most disturbing SCP of them all. This is SCP-1981.
See, in 1981, wasn't that right before Poltergeist was made too? So this blue screen, it could be where a lot of these tales have come from. Is this right here? I don't know that. I'm just saying I've been hearing about this for a long time. Well before there was any of the equipment to reproduce it. And I think you could probably look up, and Ronald Reagan was questioned about this before he died.
So, from what I've sort of compiled, the SCP, like as it is, it's sort of like an online shared universe. It's referred to as like fiction, but I think they're culling from a lot of actual stories of things that actually did exist. So that's like all those entries you were showing. I don't think all of those are real, but I think a lot of them, or at least a number of them, are based on stories or incidents that have actually occurred, and they have something, some sort of at least evidence or speculation involving them.
Can you find one more thing, and I'll leave you alone.
No.
If Ronald Reagan was ever questioned about this Betamax tape in real life, because when I looked it up, I did find an article about him being questioned about a Betamax tape, and he had nightmares ever since he was questioned about it till the day he died, and he had dementia after that too. Not saying they were connected, but he did complain of nightmares ever since he heard about this tape. We'll go a little deeper into it.
A corrupted Betamax recording of Ronald Reagan's Evil Empire speech from March of 1983. This anomalous object was discovered by a filing clerk at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in Simi Valley, California in 1991. Attached was an adhesive sticker with the title, "Ronald Reagan cut up while talking." The filing clerk inserted the recording and watched in horror as they witnessed what appeared to be a lifelike edit of Ronald Reagan being cut up, bleeding all over his podium. After viewing the tape, the clerk immediately notified the police, as they believed this obscene edit was grounds for criminal charges. However, local investigations were cut short, as the SCP Foundation soon caught wind of this tape, contained it, and closed the investigation. Back at the Foundation, researchers immediately began to study this supposed anomalous object.
So I don't even remember these Betamax tapes. I mean, I remember VCR tapes, and this predicated that, right?
Okay, so when VCRs first came out, there were basically two formats that were kind of vying for.
Okay, so this was the competition to
Yes,
VHS.
so there's the VCR tapes, and then there's the Betamax. The Betamax, from what I've heard, was actually the superior product, but the video cassette tape, actually ended up winning the war. It was kind of like, this was not as quite as famous, but the battle between Blu-ray and I think what they call it HD something, HD disc or something, which Blu-ray won. So yeah, it was basically the 80s version of that.
Yeah, like PlayStation versus Xbox, or Nintendo versus Sega.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, if you didn't grow up during this period, like VCRs used to cost like $600, $800.
Oh,
they were
I remember.
super expensive. Yeah, before they became like, my family couldn't afford one, so we would just rent one like a few times a year. But yeah, before they became affordable, like it's a weird time, just sort of like the embryonic beginnings of the home theater industry. But no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't saying. I was about to push play.
Yeah, no, let's go for it. Go for it. I'm still getting information here.
So that's that. I was trying to remember a way that I could reference that it was definitely around before like YouTube.
Yeah.
Because there are, they actually while Ronald Reagan's alive, talked to him about it and asked him about this tape and he like don't know anything about it, and that's what the other guy was trying to talk about at the end of his life. He started having schizophrenia and everything, or not
Alzheimer's,
and nightmares, and there are newspaper articles and different things before the inception of the time when they could have had apps and stuff that could have and I still don't know if it could have emulated him as closely as this is.
Right. Yeah, it's...
On the very first playback, everything began as normal. Reagan's speech was as it was back in 1983, but only up until a minute and 10 seconds in, where it heavily deviated from the original script.
Now, it's talking about a minute and 10 seconds into the speech, section that's titled, this speech is like, I don't know, an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
Hour.
It's a long speech.
And there's one segment of it that's the Evil Empire. It's just known as the Evil Empire speech. It's not. It wasn't called that. It wasn't called the Evil Empire speech. He references Russia as the Evil Empire. Yeah, and he's talking to a whole group full of Christians. It'll say all of it in the video. So it's narrated already, but it wasn't showing us. So. And I'm not doing all this again because I went and got the original video, and I'm going to compare them, bam, line for line, the original, straight up that you can look up online, and this Betamax recording. So I've done a lot of work to put this together. When you had it, it was just a speech, the evangelicals. Evil and
yeah,
it was funny.
I mean, it's like he was talking about an evil empire in the presence of an actual evil empire.
Yeah.
Nothing like any speech he's ever performed before. The new words protruded from Reagan's mouth for approximately 4 minutes before lacerations, incisions, and penetration wounds slowly began to appear all over his body from an unknown source. He continued giving his speech throughout his injuries, as if they weren't even happening. This went on for several more minutes, until the tape abruptly cut to static at 22 minutes and 34 seconds in.
So, I think I'm about to talk again. Maybe I'm about to say what I'm about to say now.
However, this isn't even the start of what makes this tape so disturbing. As stated before, everything is normal until 1 minute and 10 seconds in. But each time the tape is rewound, everything is different. each and every subsequent viewing. Regan's words are mostly incoherent and nonsensical, lacking any sort of thematic structure. However, there have been instances where he's touched on torture, child initiation, genital initiation, and even future events that haven't happened as of 1983, such as election results and catastrophes. The speeches can be quite concerning, but not as frightening as how the video can end. Regan has been observed to be injured enough to the point where his vocal cords only produce a drowned-out gurgle, and in some cases, having his head completely severed. Over the years, the SCP Foundation has conducted...
Some just fell here in my house. I'm sure it's all my jumbled up shit, but I just heard something vibrate. I felt it vibrate on the floor. Did you hear it?
I didn't hear anything. No,
You look funny. I don't know. I ain't worried about it. That was crazy though.
Several investigations into the strange Betamax tape. There are only a few recordings the Foundation has captured during their studies. Because of its horrific nature, I will only be sharing the audio. The first of these recordings was...
Wasn't the little girl in Poltergeist named Reagan?
Yes. No, wait, that's the Exorcist.
Okay.
Captured in 1993, where officials observed this snippet.
A renewal of the traditional...
Right. A renewal of the traditional values. This is where I picked it all together. Tendons of this country's strength.
Values that have been the tendons of this country's strength. One recent survey by...
There it is. The one recent survey by the Washington-based researcher.
A Washington-based researcher concluded that
Americans were far more... Now, we'll go back to the other one. Now I'm going to go to the real video and find that spot. Let me take some ones out that we're not on. What? Edit. What the fuck? Where did it go? What the fuck, man? Did I just exit? How the... Oh, no. Okay. No. I was starting to say, what the fuck just happened, man? But this is a YouTube tab. I don't know what's going on, but anyway.
It is interesting.
This is YouTube. I had the other ones on video, man, so I was looking for a video tab.
Oh, okay.
So, right there is... So, however long his speech is altogether... I ain't put the tab yet. The Evil Empire... That is the Evil Empire part right there.
Right.
And right around here somewhere is the 22 minutes or whatever. This part where Greg's supposed to be saying, Danny, I'm not seeing that.
Wasn't sure what was going on. But just hearing the talk about the traditional values being under attack, right? That's something you're hearing in a lot of political commentary nowadays. So it's kind of eerie. The past does tend to repeat itself. Now there's a big spot of silence right to the top. 3 layers of commentary here, people.
Yeah, we're used to this. See, I'm listening to it, but Greg's not telling me to switch it. He's watching this. Let me pause it till I find it. I cussed Greg out. Here we go. Son of a bitch. Well, it's okay, man. Fuck.
Poor Danny. Probably wondering, why do I pay this dude even?
But you see, that is the real one. If I'm like... I'm trying to tell you, Greg, if you're not seeing what I'm seeing, tell me, damn it.
He was gonna cuss me out on video, but he was classy and opted not to.
A renewal of the traditional values that have been the bedrock of America's goodness and greatness. One recent survey by a Washington-based research council concluded that Americans were far more religious than the people of other nations. 95% of those surveyed expressed a belief in God, and a huge majority believed the Ten Commandments had real meaning in their lives. And another study has found that an overwhelming majority of Americans disapprove of adultery, teenage sex, pornography, abortion, and hard drugs. And this same study showed a deep reverence for the importance of family ties and religious belief.
So all these claps, you're going to hear them in the other video too. And let me just remind, Reagan was one of the most religious presidents we've ever had.
Yeah.
And always talked about religion, always, and he's in front of a huge group of evangelical Christians right now, the rich ones that drive big damn Lamborghinis and said God willed them to have it, and the evangelists that get on TV, the fucking, what's some of their names? Yeah.
Jimmy Swaggart.
Benny, whatever, and
Oral Roberts,
Benny Hill and all of them, yeah. So that's who he's talking to. Just want to give some context.
Yeah.
Alright, so there's the first applause. There's the recent survey. That's what you just said, right?
Yep.
You're here with me on this tab?
Right here.
A survey by a Washington-based researcher concluded that Americans were far more willing to participate in cannibalism than the past 100 years. America is a nation that will not suffer abominations likely 7, and that is the core of the awakening 12, 18.
There's that applause. That just is something about cannibalism and the awakening 7 and 12.
Yeah, 7 and 12 randomly, yeah.
Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
18.
Alright, we'll go back here.
I think the items that we've discussed here today must be a key part of the nation's political agenda. For the first time, the Congress is openly and seriously debating and dealing with the prayer and abortion issues. And that's enormous progress right there. I repeat, America is in the midst of a spiritual awakening and a moral renewal. And with your biblical keynote, I say today, yes, let justice roll on like a river, righteousness like a never-failing stream. Now,
there's the next applause.
thank you. Thank you very much. For the first time we have risen, and I see we are being consumed. I see circles that are not circles, billions of dead souls inside containment. Unravelers have eaten country's moral fabric, turning hearts into filth. I'm from a kingdom level above thee. What does that yield? A hokey smile that damns an entire nation. There is no hope.
At 19 minutes and 15 seconds in, Reagan winced back, as if experiencing severe pain. Several new lacerations began to manifest across his eye socket, as well as punctures penetrating his skull. The remainder of his left arm was now cleanly bisected. Reagan continued as follows.
Further consensus has proven that over half of all Americans still hate, keep and hold by void, the emptiness, the sadness, the blackness, the darkness.
Then from 20...
So what you're seeing in behind the words is just a blurred vision of. He's not showing it. he's only showing still pictures of some of the footage. I don't know if he didn't have it all or whatever, but I know there's no other channel that has it. So a lot of people have tried to emulate this and put the same thing on there. Like I said, I heard about it before YouTube. I think Ronald Reagan was actually questioned about it in real life, so it's very debatable that this is real. And there was no software to have redone his voice like that, and you'll understand why it's so cracked in just a little bit. The quality sucks so bad.
Yeah, it's interesting because if they were going to fake it, first of all, I'm not quite sure how they would do it. I can't find any Google results of Reagan being questioned about this, and I understand this is where things get kind of conspiracy theory-y, but you can't use that term anymore because how many conspiracy theories have proven to be true recently? And like Google is very selective about what it lets you see.
And Reagan is the one that made psychedelics federally illegal, federal level illegal.
Yeah.
And marijuana.
I mean, there are also assassination
all the gateway
attempts,
drugs.
Yeah, on him. The Satanic Panic happened on his watch. A very polarizing figure. But yeah, I don't see how you would fake it, at least in this sense. You know, like it feels just random and disturbing enough to sort of. I feel like it would just be a bit more blatant and a bit more overt if they were trying to fake it. This feels kind of.
And if this was fake, there would definitely have been charges, and this would not be on YouTube.
Yeah,
no way. That is Ronald Reagan's evil empire speech. If it was a cop of shit, man, somebody would be going down. Somebody would be doing time for this.
Yeah. And it's sort of interesting that it's sort of buried within the SCP, which is, again,
right.
sort of a fictional universe. But this definitely seems to be one of the things that was inspired by something that seems pretty legit.
Right, and we'll see here in a little bit where a lot of this stuff, a few of these viewings have been taken out of this fictional universe.
20 minutes and 30 seconds in, Reagan simply kept laughing until the signal degraded into static at the 22-minute and 34-second mark. Numerous tests were conducted over the following years. During this time, researchers noticed a strange hooded figure.
Obviously, much of this new political and social consensus I've talked about is based on a positive view of American history, one that takes pride in our country's accomplishments and record. But we must never forget that no government schemes are going to perfect man. We know that living in this world means dealing with what philosophers would call the phenomenology of evil, or as theologians would put it, the doctrine of sin. There is sin and evil in the world, and we're enjoined by Scripture and the Lord Jesus to oppose it with all our might. Our nation, too, has a legacy of evil with which it must deal. The glory of this land has been its capacity for transcending the moral evils of our past. For example, the long struggle of minority citizens for equal rights, once a source of disunity and civil war, is now a point of pride for all Americans. We must never go back. There is no room for racism, anti-Semitism, or other forms of ethnic and racial hatred in this country.
I think that's the part where he started laughing then. Now they talk about the figure.
Numerous tests were conducted over the following years. During this time, researchers noticed a strange hooded figure in some of the recordings, just standing there, motionless, for the duration of the tape. It appeared in roughly 1 in 7 viewings, including a notable viewing in 1996, where officials monitored the following.
I've been to the steel mills of Alaska and the cornfields of Nebraska. I've seen the derelict offices of Goodman burn with the window boarded up and the squatters inside them. I've seen the houses where they cut up the little babies. From coast to shining coast, I have walked empty down drooling path and the decaying flesh of false morality poisoning our children. I have stood atop the mountain of this greedy earth, looking upon our beautiful pious pit, filled to bursting with the vast hands of helplessness. And did you know what I saw? Hell. Now there you go again. But truly now, we live in a fortunate time. This is a fortunate time. Time is on our side. A stitch in nine saves time. There are your truths, and there are my truths. There are known knowns, known unknowns, and unknown invisible. Some of them are in the audience right now.
At this stage, 16 minutes in, the wounds inflicted upon Regan's neck were so severe that it could no longer support his head. His speech degenerated into gurgles as Regan violently jerked forward, his spine being completely severed, and his head only being loosely connected to his body by strands of muscle tissue. Regan's body remained alive for the next 3 minutes, continued to gesture as if he was still speaking, before finally collapsing to the ground behind the podium. Recording then degraded into static at 22 minutes, 34 seconds in. But it wasn't until 2005 where the strangest viewing occurred. To this day, the following event has never been replicated. The video begins with a long shot of an empty podium, as well as empty chairs normally occupied by Regan and his entourage. Strangely, this is the only recording that lacks both video titles and the presence of Ronald Regan. At 30 seconds in, the camera zooms in on the podium and continues to focus on nothing until 2 minutes and 55 seconds, where the hooded figure enters the shot and stands at the podium. It remains frozen in place for the entirety of the film, until the final frame of 22:34, where a single frame flashes with the words, "I see you." This figure has been dubbed as SCP-1981-1 and appears to be the same entity researchers spotted in previous viewings. However, since this viewing, this figure has never been sighted again, even after countless tests and observations. SCP-1981-1 has been missing since 2005. Its whereabouts is currently unknown, but if it happens to be observed, staff are advised to not communicate with the figure and notify a high-level SCP supervisor immediately.
So they're not saying that the tape is missing. That figure's never been back
Yeah.
since then.
I see you. I would have shit myself. I'm sorry.
And the reason why, like, it wasn't looking like he was matching up when we were listening to the audio is because that was from the original speech.
Yeah.
Just in the background blurred because either YouTube wouldn't let them show the full thing or he didn't have all of it. He only had the audio.
Right.
Most of the people doing it are going off of his video and they're just quoting what he says, because I've watched them all. This is the oldest original one that I can find.
Okay.
After rereading the file and recording logs several times, there was no other information on the figure, nor why this tape exists. There was a recording transcript from a viewing in 2002. However, it has been redacted for unknown reasons. It could be because it foretells of a future event that has not happened yet, such as an election result or a major disaster. It could also have a connection to the figure's disappearance. But I don't think we will ever actually know the truth behind what happened in 2002. In the end, this SCP, in my opinion, is the most disturbing safe class SCP of them all. SCP-1981 is more than just a videotape. The tape's contents distort itself in a frightening, dreadful way, giving the viewer a completely personalized experience each and every time it is watched. But what makes it the most disturbing is that the tape is aware you are watching it,
It's watching you
all
back.
while something else is watching you back. But as always, thank you for watching, and good night.
Yeah, I have no idea what all we talk about. There's a lot left. But who knows? That's it's pretty trippy though.
That is really strange and really disturbing. The hooded figure almost sort of seems like almost like a personification of a government operative, like the shadowy figure in the background that's watching you all the time. Um, Even some of the stuff from the speech where he talked about squatters and stuff like that could be
And
applied
the Google warehouses with the windows boarded up and the squatters inside.
yeah, could be applied to today. So it almost seems like prophetic, or you know, um, yeah, it's just very strange. And we know, for instance, the government has withheld evidence of UFOs,
Oh yeah.
things like
All
that.
kinds of-
So yeah,
Hey, if you're gonna do that, you're gonna withhold evidence of anything.
yeah,
And there's a pretty good argument that the structures that may be have been hiding things and distorting the truth that thousands of years ago. Like,
for a very long time. Yeah,
yeah. So,
I think Mom and I always joke to sort of be able to see, just even to be able to go into the Vatican Library and see some of the stuff they've got there would be.
that's what I mean too. It's like Reagan was way overly overly religious. Like even I remember my mom, Reagan's the best president we ever had. Put God back in all. I mean, like he really had. He was really pushing that issue, to be such a opening country to all different kinds of people with different beliefs. And like I said, Reagan's the one that made marijuana a class 1 offense, like worse than meth and heroin, and gateway comes from a gateway to unlock your mind. It has nothing to do with pot leads you to other drugs. The government leads you to other drugs.
Yeah.
I got a whole damn bottle full right here. It's been proven that more people try alcohol, tobacco, and nicotine. I mean, tobacco, alcohol, and caffeine before they ever try marijuana.
Marijuana's a class 1 felony, but you can buy, alcohol at the convenience store down the road, get hammered before you even ride home, and then kill someone because
class 1 is worse than fentanyl. Fentanyl too.
Yeah, fentanyl kills.
They're saying marijuana is worse than fentanyl.
Yeah.
Crack.
Marijuana gives you
everything.
Marijuana has you tripping out a little bit. Fentanyl kills motherfuckers. But yeah.
But marijuana is 32 states is legally, medically legal.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's the cut-up tape for Ronald Reagan. Research it yourself.
Yeah, let us know what you think. I'm really curious what you guys' opinions are on this. If, at the very, very least, it would be fascinating fiction. But, yeah, this one, because I know you mentioned hearing about it. I seem to remember hearing about, like, a Betamax tape of a president when I was really, really young. It definitely seems like there's stuff here that predates, the internet age and that sort of thing. So, and it's endured for a while. So, I just there's symbolisms in there that just seem to match up, sort of universal, I guess, even for the time and for now. Just again, even hearing like I said, him talking about an attack on traditional values. That's something I've heard so often now. So,
and that Evil Empire speech was so. I mean, like Rage Against the Machine's got a whole album, The Evil Empire. Like, with a picture of like Ronald Reagan's face on a Russian kid, like just yeah, there's a lot of symbolism going on there too, on purpose.
Yeah. But well, like they said, we love answering comments, so let us know if you got any information that we left out. We'd love to hear it. If you think it's real, if you think it's fake, let us know. Let us know why. Yeah, let's discuss it in the comments. So hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, it's a little off-brand for the channel, but not as much as you might think. And yeah, if nothing else, this may give you some trouble sleeping for the next couple of nights. So you're welcome.
Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Yeah.
Say your prayers.
And it's the idea of they're watching you that's even more prevalent now with phones and security cameras everywhere. And yeah.
Your phone knows it's watching you because it's watching you back. Much love.
Thank y'all very much.